What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Fireside Rangers. I'm your host, Eric Wilson. Today, joined by my co-host, Will Cohen. Unfortunately, Colin is unable to be here today. He really wishes he could have, but he says hi to everyone watching. But I'm joined by Will Cohen today, and it's a bittersweet episode today. We've talked about Chris Kreider a lot over the last couple months, what we think the Rangers should do with him regarding his future. And, well, we have our answer throughout the last 48 hours. There's been all these reports flying around that the Rangers and the Anaheim Ducks had a deal in place to send Krider over to Anaheim. And as of this morning, which is why me and Will both look kind of tired because it is kind of early. Chris Kreider has reportedly waived his no trade clause and he will become a member of the Anaheim Ducks. So most of the trade package has been announced. There's a few minor things that we're just waiting to hear, such as what round the picks are going to be, but we know a majority of the details. So we'll be here to break down the trade. Maybe we'll get some more specifics as the episode goes on, but we're going to get right on to that. But before we do, make sure you guys like, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss notification. Leave your thoughts on this trade down in the comment section below, and be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms at Fireside Rangers. But, Will, I know right before we hit record, you told me you were sad. Tell me more about that. Let the fans know how we're feeling on this fine Thursday morning.
This is it's the right time to trade him. And I always thought that they would. I don't know if I ever actually thought they would. It just kind of sucks. I mean, this guy's been on the team since 2013. He's been there for 13 years. Not 2013, 2012. Sorry. Came in during those 2012 playoffs. Had a lot of big moments as a Ranger. I mean, a lot of big playoff goals in those early, those early cup runs with Hank and now with Igor, like last year, willing the Rangers back on a natural hat trick in the third period against the Carolina Hurricanes. I mean, he's had a lot of huge moments for this team, and it really sucks how the end of his Ranger tenure ended. It sucks that he's not going to be a Ranger next year. I mean, this is a guy you think is going to be a career Ranger and have his number in the rafters, and I hope he still has his number in the rafter at some point, but it just it sucks. I never really thought that he would be traded.
Sorry, I have a cat meowing at me. Yeah, it does kind of suck. I think you're right in the sense that it is the right time, though. Just based on the reports that I've read and seen, there's definitely no separation between Krider and the Rangers. It's not like the Jacob Trouba situation where now Kreider is going to have beef with the organization and hold a grudge against us. It kind of seems like Kreider understood what was going on, and the Rangers at least did their due diligence to find him a place that he wanted to go. I'm looking at a report from Arthur Staple 1 minute ago that says there were several teams talking with Krider and the Rangers, but the Anaheim deal made the most sense because of ex-teammates being in Anaheim, a chance to play for Joel Quenneville, who's controversies aside, one of the greatest coaches in NHL history, and a good young group to play with. He's going to get to play with Zegras and McTavish, a couple of the other young guys over there in Anaheim. So at least Kreider's happy. I think that's the biggest thing. A guy who's done so much for the franchise. You've listed several of his great accomplishments with the Rangers. We did him right, I feel like. He got to pick the place that he wanted to go. Looking at the trade package, the Rangers easily could have done that with any team. I feel like any team Kreider wanted to go to, the Rangers could have found a deal that made sense, because looking at this package, as sad as it is, we have to break it down. The Rangers are acquiring in return Carey Terrence, who is a prospect. We know the drill here on Fireside Rangers. We're not experts on all the prospects, but looking at his season he had this year, he was the captain of the Erie Otters, which, for those of you that don't know, is the OHL team that Connor McDavid played for. Not that matters specifically, but that's the team he was on, and he had 39 points in 45 games. From what I understand, he's not like a top tier prospect just based on the few things that I've read, but there is a chance that he could develop into a solid third liner one day, maybe. Maybe play like a Will Cooley type of role, but that's not the important thing. They're also swapping mid-round picks. That's the one part that we don't know for sure is what round those picks are going to be. But the Rangers are giving up Krider and a mid-round pick, and they're receiving Terrence and another mid-round pick. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot for a guy like Krider. And the reason why, as sad as it is, I kind of like this trade is because Anaheim is taking on the entirety of Chris Kreider's $6.5 million contract. So this is really kind of just a cap dump, which means this is step one in a two-part move. What are the Rangers going to do with this extra cap space? I'm not sure, but we've heard reports and speculations about guys like Jason Robertson, JJ Peterka, some players that we've talked about on this channel. I don't know what's possible. I'm not entirely sure.
I'll tell you what it is.
Tell me what it is then.
They're the front runners to land Gavrikov, and it's going to be a 7x7.
Tell me more about that.
I've seen one report on that. I'm not sure how true it is, but they are the front runners to land Gavrikov right now. Obviously, he's the defenseman for the Kings. I have not seen much about that. I think Larry Brooks might have reported that, and someone else might have just threw it out there as well because of Brooks. But I have seen that the Rangers are front runners to land Gavrikov, and it will be a 7x7 contract for him. So
that's interesting because, I mean, as we know, today is only June 12th. The free agency market doesn't open up till July 1st. So there is quite a bit of time. So it's interesting to see reports, or at least speculation, that the Rangers have a contract in place. That kind of seems a little illegal out there.
It's tampering, but I don't know if they probably have not talked to Gavrikov yet. And they probably have. There is probably a lot of tampering in the NHL. As most sports league, there's probably tampering, but I don't know if they've talked to him about a 7x7. I don't know if people are just speculating that that's what he's going to get because that's what his probably would get from any team. But a 7x7 to Gavrikov is what the Rangers would like to be doing this summer.
I mean, I will say we have talked about Gavrikov on the channel. We have advocated for the Rangers to go out and get a guy like him, if not him. So I wouldn't hate the move. 7x7 kind of seems like a steep number to me, but I guess that's kind of just the market in the NHL these days. So I guess when it comes to Gavrikov, we'll have to wait and see if these reports are true that the Rangers are going to use this cap space to go after him. But like I said, there are a handful of names out there. They can go for Gavrikov and another player like Robertson, like Peterka, because, again, we keep referencing all the reports, and that's really all that they are just reports, rumors, speculation, things that these analysts and reporters have heard out there throughout the combine and the remaining parts of the summer. But from what I've seen, it kind of seems like Drury's not done. There are going to be more players moved, and we're going to see a very different looking roster. Obviously, we've heard Keandre Miller's name floating around. If they can get rid of him, that's some even more space. Carson Soucy might be moved. That's some more.
Lexi Lafreniere's name was brought up in trade talks too.
So I guess we'll have to see what's going to happen. But like I said, if there's anyone out there looking at this trade saying Krider is a great player, pure goal scorer, great speed, still got it. He just had a down year. We should have gotten more from him. Yes, we definitely could have gotten more. We could have. But don't look at it like that. We weren't swapping forwards with anyone. We weren't going to go straight out and acquire a top 4 defenseman. This is purely a cap dump. We needed to get rid of that $6.5 million. So now we can go out in free agency and sign whoever we want to go out and get. So personally, I feel like I can't say that I love the trade just because it involves Christopher Kreider, who we all know and love. but I don't hate it either. I like the trade as long as Drury does something with it. Like if we take this money and go out and just extend Keandre Miller to like a $7 million contract, I'm gonna hate it. But as of now, it shows promise. So we'll have to see what the vision is, what Drury's plan is.
I think he'll extend Cooley. I think they're gonna trade. I think they'll trade Miller's RFA rights. I think they're gonna try heavy for Robertson, but you're not going to be able to get that without Cooley in the package. I know the Sabres said that they're not interested in trading Peterka, which would make sense because why would you trade a guy like JJ Peterka on a young team that's has playoff aspirations? I think they go after Marco Rossi too. I know he's available right now, so I think they're going to try hard to go after Robertson and Rossi. And maybe they call Kevin Adams about Peterka, but I don't see the Sabres moving him. But I definitely think they're going to go after Robertson and try and if they do get him, try and get him an extension because I know he has 1 year left on his deal. So, and they have the cap space obviously to do it if they do trade for him. And I think Marco Rossi has 1 year. I think he's going to be an RFA next year, so they'd have enough money to extend him as well. So, if they go get any of them, also signing Gavrikov if they want to as well. But I think they have. Me and Colin were talking about it yesterday when we were on Fortnite, actually playing Only Up. I think the Rangers will have 11 million, and it could potentially go up depending on the cap, if the cap goes up, which I know it will. I just don't know like how our cap will be affected by that. But I think they'll have 11 million this summer in cap with Krider's contract coming off the books.
And that's before any other moves are also made.
Yes.
So
I think that's flat. And I don't know if we get an additional money because the cap's going up. Because Colin said that the 11 million is just in a flat $82 million cap. So I don't know if that goes up with the cap jump. Who knows?
Yeah. If only Colin were here.
Exactly. Come
Too
on,
bad.
Colin.
We'll have to discuss it more over Fortnite again later. If you guys want to see me, Will, and Colin stream Fortnite, let us know. We'll make Fireside Fortnite. But I feel like we've pretty much touched everything upon the Krider trade, gave our reactions, gave where we think it's going. I guess all that's left to do is just stand by and wait and see what Drury's master plan is, because this is definitely nothing's confirmed yet. I'm not able to predict the future.
Here it is.
Okay, breaking
Gary
news.
Terrence goes to the Rangers as part of his trade. Ducks will get a 4th-round pick. Rangers get a 3rd.
Okay.
Don't know the years. Probably this year, I'm guessing.
I would have liked maybe a 2nd, but whatever.
This is a pure cap dump.
That
sucks.
You know what? The Ducks are taking on the entire $6.5 million. I'm okay with the 3rd.
I'm okay too. Yeah, that's fine with me. It's a 3rd-round pick. You could package that up, try to go up to the 2nd, but
we'll see. But yeah, that was the live official trade reaction. Just kind of stuff we already knew, though.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like I said, this is going to be the first of many moves this summer. I feel like this year's off season is going to be action packed. So hold on to your seats, grab your popcorn. I'm sure we'll be back to break down some more moves shortly. So until then, if you guys did enjoy, make sure we like, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss a notification. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, and be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms at Fireside Rangers. But Christopher James Krider, thank you for your services. Good luck in Anaheim. Tell Ryan Strome I said hi. And yeah, catch you all on the next one. Have a good one. And
let's
go
Rangers.
Rangers.